Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah. Jones, hey. Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.
All right. It is Thursday afternoon. It's 3 o'clock. Hot 702.5 FM. Greg Deville back on the radio as usual. We are talking real estate. Let's talk real estate with Greg Deville. Want to make sure that you understand your credit is vitally important. And if you're not taking care of your credit, you may find yourself with higher rates. So I'm finding individuals who are having 650s or above on the FICO. Rates are better. So I did have a person get approved at 650 FICO score, but to get a better rate, they needed to have at least a 680. And so the lender showed them. Now understand, when you talk to a lender about getting pre-approved, they're going to go over your interest rates, they're going to go over your FICO score and let you know. Now, I understand that, need a little more volume on me, please. I understand that when your credit score is being challenged, you don't quite get the rate as someone with a better credit score, right? Because you're a higher risk. So you ever notice when you go to buy a car, they'll run your credit 3 or 4 or 5 times at different lending institutions to find the better rate. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed what interest rates for cars. They can be anywhere from 6 to 23%. And the lower your FICO, the higher the rate. So what the lender is really saying is, I'll do the loan, but here's the interest rate that I want to because you're a higher risk. I just sold a home to a client who had to get a 9% interest rate because they're self-employed. So it's a little more challenging for those of you that are self-employed. What I want to see you do starting today is if you are self-employed and you're getting, let's use for example, you're a barber. If you're a barber, nail tech, massage therapist, what have you, one of the things you need to do is every every week, if not every day, you make cash money, deposit that, or just hold it to the end of the week, deposit those funds into that account. Those funds determine your income. Now, every week now I know you need to pay a bill and you've got the money in hand, but what we want to see you do for the next year is make those deposits. Because remember, your deposits are your proof of income. So when you make that, I don't care if you made $150 a day, self-employed, end of the week, you should be depositing that $700-800 or whatever that number is and show that deposit. Now you can withdraw it back, but because the banks only want, the lenders only want to see your deposits. Am I making it clear there? So it's very important as self-employed individuals, right? We're not getting that W-2. We're 1099 in many cases. How do we work around that so that we can purchase home, investment properties, commercial real estate? Now, as a commercial real estate, residential property, investment property broker, I give information. Now, I am not a lender. I am a real estate professional. I give this information to help you get to that next level to get what it is that you need. What do you need? You need to own the place where either your shop is, that you're running a business, or you need to own that place that you lie your head down at night, where your pillow is. Do you own that property? Where your bed is, do you own that property that you're in? Recently had a conversation with a gentleman who was telling me, well, he called me yesterday. He asked, Mr. Deville, I hear you on the radio all the time. I do several radio talk shows in town. And one of the other stations, he's been hearing my show. And he says, I just want to hear from you directly. Is it a good time to buy or should I wait? My answer immediately is absolutely, it's a good time to buy. Why would you say that, Deville? Only because you're starting a fixed rate on a mortgage. Because when you're renting, the landlord can go up anytime. He says, yeah, but the interest rates are high. I said, so is rent. Think about it. Because the landlord can go out and buy a new car, and the car payment might be $300, and he go up on your rent, what? $300. So who's really paying for the mortgage and the car? Just keep it 100. So as a real estate broker, I want you to understand, you need to own and start building wealth through equity. The equity is what you're paying into for the landlord. So how do I get you to own your own home with no money down? I'm glad you asked. At Deville Realty Group, one of the things we love to do is help first-time buyers. Now, if you're a seasoned investor, a seasoned buyer, I'll be glad to work with you as well. But I really am pushing to get those of you who have not in the last 3 years owned a home. Because you're only investing, and yes, you are investing. Here, I want you to fire your landlord. I said, I want you to fire your landlord. Because at the pace you're going to pay off their home, and then they're going to sell it, and then you'll be out trying to find another rental. What are you going to do? Or what if he says, I'm going up $350 on the rent? Well, I'll move. No, you can't move. Why? Because it's going to cost you double the amount to move, and then wherever you're going, the rent's going to be higher probably than where you are. If you've been there longer than 3 years, it's probably less, because 3 years ago, we didn't have this rental issue that we're having today. Today, rent is high. So are the interest rates. But the advantage to a higher interest rate versus high rent is that I eventually own my home. I eventually have wealth through equity. That's the portion, or that's the piece that I'm trying to drive home to everyone. Understand, you're doing it already. You're building wealth. You're creating wealth. You're paying a mortgage. You're paying down a principal. But when you rent, or somebody said, well, I don't rent, I lease. Okay, it's a fancy word to rent. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you're paying someone else's mortgage. How long? We've done the math. I don't know if this is your first time hearing the Greg Deville Real Estate Talk Show. We've done the math on many occasions, right? So, again, she didn't log me in on my Facebook, but okay. All right, I wanted to do the math. I'll share it later. I need to calculate it. I want to talk to the clients today. So you tell me you're paying $2,100 a month. I was talking to a lady, and she's paying $2,100 a month. Times 12 months. She's been there a year. So far, she's given up $25,200. Now, Let's say that's you paying that, and you've been there times 3 years. Okay, you've given up $75,600. Now, that could be $75,000 in the last 3 years that you've been there that you could have, guess what, placed into your own equity. You could have paid your principal down by $75,000. Well, a lot of it is interest in the beginning, but nonetheless, you're paying towards your own. Because when a landlord goes up on the rent, remember, most landlords have fixed rates. They don't want adjustable rates. Someone asked me the other day, is it a good time to get into an adjustable rate? If you're a savvy investor, maybe you can find a reason to do that, right? But residential owner occupants, it is not recommended. In fact, if you're a first-time buyer, it's been outlawed that you do ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages. They call them ARMs. Remember, not a lender, but talking and working directly with lenders, I'm learning more that I can share per my radio shows to empower, to enlighten the community of available options that are out there. This is my passion. This is what I do. 8 years on radio now. We've helped countless number of families. I want to appreciate the many of you who have sent a referral, who have spoken about Deville Realty, who have shared the information that I've shared, who have shared my Facebook posts. Let me thank you in advance if you're thinking about it. Oh, this would be good for so-and-so. Share it. I would really, really appreciate you sharing that. But remember, if you're going to pay $75,600 into somebody else's mortgage, why not do it for yourself? What would be the reasoning behind you not doing it for yourself? What would be the reasoning behind that? Let me ask you this. If I could sell your home with no money down, would you buy it? If that's your only dilemma, guess what? We got a solution. Problem solved. Done. 702-349-0162. 702-349-0162. That's the number you need to contact. Reach me directly. I want to speak with you about getting started. Now, maybe your credit isn't where it needs to be, but we need to know. We say my credit's bad. We need to know. Well, you need to know, how bad is your credit? I'm not talking about that Credit Karma, that 1 year annual report. I'm talking about a real hard pull. People who say they don't want a hard pull aren't serious about getting into a home. When you're serious about getting into a home, you do it for Macy's when you wanted that Christmas 20% off. You sat at that table right at the entrance. Well, if you apply for a credit card, you can get 20% off. And you did. Did you realize that was a hard pull? But you were so excited about the Christmas and the 20%. But I want you to get excited about stop paying someone's equity. Stop paying into what someone else is doing. Because at the end of the day, they can sell that home and you're out in 30 days. Somebody listening to me today, you possibly have had a landlord to tell you, I'm selling the property. And they ask permission to let their realtor show the house. How many times have I gone to a home that they said he's selling the house? But let me share this with you. I've spoken to the tenants after getting the house on the market and say, well, why don't you buy it? How long have you been here? Some people have been there 7, 8 years. Guess what? I said, let me help you. Let me show you how to possibly purchase this home. First step to purchasing a home is speak with the lender. Let's get you set up with the lender. Find out what you qualify for. If it's not now, then when possibly? You want to have an idea. Many of you don't even know, even right now, that you're capable, well able to own a home. But because you fear your credit, you fear dealing with the unknown. I say this, we don't know if the owner's going to sell the house. So now I've got to pay double the amount of rent to move. I've got to pay to move out. I've got to pay to transfer all my power, water, trash, sewer, possibly deposits again, right? I've got to do all this because the landlord decided to sell the property. After today, let's decide, let's agree, let's touch and agree that you're going to prepare to fire your landlord. Make a decision. Because if I have programs that can help you get into owning, Why would you keep paying on someone else's? I mean, that's the question I pose every week. I don't change what I say. I just change the days. It's just a different day, same conversation. Maybe this is your first time. I'm here every Thursday at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. to share real estate knowledge and information. Take my number down, 702-349-0162. Contact me directly. I want to hear from you. If you are having a problem with your mortgage and you already own a home, but you're underwater, you're upside down with your payments, there's a program that we can use right now. It's a pre-foreclosure sale. What does that mean, Deville? That means that we could sell it before they foreclose. So what do we need to do? 702-349-0162. I need to hear from you, because if they make us put a sale date on your property, very well we'll sell it at the auction right under you. So we need to be ahead of the sale date. What does that mean? It means you need to read your mail. You need to read what days or what date do they have on that letter. It's in your letter. Read your mail. Read your mail, because your mail is going to disclose if there is a sale date from the lender. Now, again, upside down, your mortgage payments are delinquent. Now, you may already be getting phone calls, right? They may be already contacting you to say, we got a buyer for your home. Well, it sounds good, but not always do they have someone already available to purchase your home. Because if that's the case, then they don't need to list your home. But they say, well, we need to list it. Well, if you got a buyer, then why do we need to list it, right? I'll give you a commission, and we don't have to list it, but what can we do? Let's just open escrow. I'll give you a commission for it if you really have a buyer. But it's a pitch. And so people are knocking, hey, I got a buyer invested. I got an investor invested. Well, remember this. The investor's looking for a deal, right? When I do a pre-foreclosure sale with you, we're going to do market value. Now, depending on the time, the condition of the property, can we get market value? How much time do we have before the actual sale date or the foreclosure sale date? That's the question. That's why I say you need to read your mail so we know what we're working with. How do we combat getting it done before I've done them 1,000 times over. We have been helping families. Listen, I need you to push pride out of the way. Because, pride is, if you take the P off, right, it take you for a ride. If you take the E off, it gets rid of you. You lose everything because of pride. Don't let pride. Listen, I recently just sold a home and they got $182,000. Now, a couple years ago, I got another person $260,000. They had over $400,000. They divided the equity between two. Getting divorced, had to sell the home. Both of them got over $230,000. Now, look, don't lose the home. You get behind, listen, we can get that equity out the home and it's yours. You pay the loan off. Now, when you get that money, pay your bills off. Pay that first thing, pay that car note, because I know it's 7, 8, and then on top of the insurance. So we want to take care of some of those bills, right? Because your credit has because you've been in delinquency, your credit has taken a serious plunge, right? It's low. Now you got, let's say, $250,000 in equity. But you can't get any, you could normally borrow up to 80% doing a HELOC. But when you're in default, guess what? You're locked out of your equity. And the only way to receive it is to sell it. That's where Greg Deville, Team Deville comes in. We can sell that home, save that equity. Now, you'll have to rent for possibly a year, right? Sign a year lease. Let's say you walk away like this gentleman recently, $182,000. Guess what? Paid off some bills, paid off the car, and now put the rest away. Maybe you could take a trip and relax from all the stress. And now what do? Stack the rest. You're going to put $100,000 away, minimal, the least. Because within a year, you're going to contact Deville back. I need your scores to be up to a 580. Because you got your own money down. So now I can get you into a home with a 580 credit score. Matter of fact, let me say it right here. If you have a 401k on your job and you don't own a home, I can get you in with a low 580, a 560 really. A veteran, if you're renting, I can get you in with a low 500 as a veteran. We appreciate you. The VA is backing you. So why are you paying a mortgage to someone when you can get a home with no money down? Take advantage of the opportunity. You've done the time with the military. We appreciate you. Let them show their appreciation by giving you that no money down avenue that's available, afforded to you. How do you do it? Again, you need to contact my team. I want to speak directly with you. I want to show you how simple, the simplicity of purchasing a home. Listen, we make buying and selling and investing simple. I take time, I read, I educate myself on how I listen to seminars. I listen to the way the market is. I'm always looking at stats. Listen, I have been in the game over 35 years. I've been in this real estate market. I'll tell you, we have seen many changes in this industry. The change for you today is to contact Team Deville. Let us get you started on the path of success, doing it through equity. And that's the way you do it. Because many have gotten rich, guess what? Through real estate, creating wealth through equity is done with real estate. Do you realize every successful entrepreneur person owns real estate? It's like, why would you not? Right? Own the American dream is to have home ownership. If you have home ownership, I'm telling you, it's nothing like it. We own our home. We have the opportunity to build equity over time. We recently used some of our equity to do some things that we wanted to do. Guess what? It'll roll around in another 4 or 5 years. And whatever you need to do, you can do it again. Many of us take that equity and we reinvest it into something to create residual income. That's what equity can do for you. If you own a home right now, say, well, Deville, what you're seeing thus far doesn't really concern me. I own a home. I love my home. I'm good with my home. But let me add this piece, because you have a nice home and you have everything that, fits for you. But have you ever thought to take that equity in your home and use it to create more equity, more wealth? How do we do that? We do what is called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, right? Or the HELoan. There's two types. Now, the HELOC, from what I've been talking to my lenders, and they're saying, and I've done it, is pull 80% out of your home. You can use that money to either buy another home, to relocate and use your home as a rental, or if you love your home, you take 80% of your equity and let's say you put it on a fourplex apartment building to start creating residual income on top of creating more wealth. How is it more wealth, Deville? Because you have your home that's creating every time you make a payment, you're getting the principal down, equity favorable, right? Same thing with your fourplex. You're not paying the fourplex, the tenants are. Right? Isn't that good stuff? Now, I want to shock somebody right through here. As a first-time buyer, you can actually purchase a fourplex. The only catch to a first-time buyer owning a fourplex is it's got to be owner-occupant for that first year. Depending on the loan, some may be 3 years. There are some that are 1 year. The lender would have to go over the details. But have we done it? Yes. In fact, my first real estate deal back in 2005, when the lady purchased a property, and I didn't know her at the time of purchase. I was doing home improvement. I have a home improvement business, so I buy and flip homes, and I remodel homes and things like that. And so she called me to do some painting and some improvements around, some roof repairs and things like that. We repaired the property. She says, now I want to sell it. I said, I'm a realtor. She said, oh, good. You can sell it for me, too. She paid $180,000 for that building. When it was time to sell, she sold it for $425,000. She lived in one of the units for 3 years, because at that time it was 3 years around the board. Recently, there's been some changes handed down, but she stayed rent-free for 3 years. So that means she saved what she would have been paying rent somewhere. Instead of paying the other 3 units, paid the mortgage. She lived absolutely rent-free and still worked every day. Just she did not have to pay a mortgage. So all that money for 3 years she stacked up, and she only owed $180, sold it for $425. Do the math. She lives in Florida, down in Miami now. Guess what? Living good, right? Enjoying life. Bought more property in real estate in South Beach, Miami. Doing really well. Maybe Miami's not your cup of tea, but you can do it right here. Buy a fourplex. As a first time, now again, it is a sacrifice because sometimes what you may be affording may be on Hollywood, right? Now that's, I don't know what you feel about Hollywood. I don't know. It may not be in an area you really want. Maybe it's not for everyone. Maybe you do well just purchasing a home and build equity that way. Then 4 or 5 years, take that equity through the HELOC, the home equity line of credit, and then put it on a fourplex up on Hollywood that you don't have to live in. But remember, if you do have to live in for 1 year, hey, look, a year goes by pretty quick. So now you're staying rent-free. The other 3 units are paying the mortgage. You're going to stack all your chips for that 1 year because you're not having to pay rent, mortgage, or anything. Why? Because the other 3 units are. We're talking about doing this through either the VA or the FHA, right? And I can get it done with no money down. Isn't that great news? I wish I could get an applause right there. This is good stuff, if I say so myself. Engineer laughing at me. Look, but watch this. So if you take what's available, run with it. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. Again, that contact information, 702-349-0162. We want to hear from you. It's imperative because the market is softening a little bit as far as value. The interest rates are still a little strong, but so is rent. The landlord can go up, once that lease ends, they can go up however number they feel. There is no legislation that has given boundaries to a landlord as of yet. So if he goes out and buy a new car and the payment is $350 a month, he can go up $350 a month. So not only are you paying the mortgage for the house, you're paying the new car note. I'm just saying, at some point, we gotta stop. Let's just fire the landlord. I know landlords don't like my show, but listen, you're gonna get another tenant, Mr. Landlord. Yes, you will. There's a ton of tenants out there, but if you're realistic, you were once, and I'm talking to a landlord right now who's listening. Just don't like what I'm saying, but you were once a landlord. You were once a tenant, and somebody gave you information about the opportunity to purchase a home. And then someone gave you that you can take the equity, buy another house, and now you're renting out that home. So don't hate the next man for trying to come up, right? I had a landlord call on my radio show once and said, well, everybody don't want to own a house, young man. I said, well, just don't call me then. If you don't want to own, why call me? Just don't call me. But if you want to own, that number for contact again, 702-349-0162. Contact me. I want to hear from you. Because again, I want to frustrate the audience to the degree that you'll stop paying another man's mortgage. Why should you go to work and pay down his mortgage and raise his equity profit? Why? Oh, I like the house. I had a lady tell me, I can't afford to buy what I live in. Yeah, but you can't afford for him to sell. And if he does, you're not going to live there no more anyway. So why keep paying his mortgage? Oh, I love the home. You love another man's home? You're in love with another man's home. Are you serious? At the end of the day, you can't fall in love with someone else's house because if they decide to sell, you're attached, but you got to go. So why not start creating wealth through equity so eventually you get enough equity in your home, you can purchase a home just like that. You said, I can't afford to purchase the home that I live in that I love so much. But there is a way that you can do it over time. Because the more time you give to the landlord, the more time you buy down his principal, right? And the more equity he gets, and he looks at his equity and say, wow, she really paid that thing down. You mean I walk away with $350,000? Guess what? He won't blink at it. I don't know that anyone have ever had someone say, thank you, you've been such a great tenant. I've been a great tenant for years. I've been property management in the buildings that I've rented, in the homes that I've rented. I never got a thank you, you did a good job, I appreciate. No. I gave my 30-day. It was over. Turned in the keys. Never said goodbye. They never said thank you. They didn't send me a turkey for Thanksgiving. Hey, they just went and re-rented the property. Right? So you're a number. I don't know how else I can get you so annoyed about giving your money away. If you go to work every week and every week you get $7, $8, $9, or $1,500, and every week you put aside $500 out of the paycheck to pay the rent. And then the guy decides, well, you paid the rent 5 years, and now he's going to sell the house. It's like all that money I paid. And you decorate it nice. I mean, you keep it really clean. You're very nice and tidy, and you love nice things. But I want you to start loving yourself enough to say, I can't keep giving to someone else. It's time to invest in you. And that's the part that we're here to talk to you for and about, is investing in yourself. Now, I know credit is sometimes an issue for many of us. I've dealt with it. 2015 didn't look good. I was in that decline of the market. I'm telling you, 2005, 6, 7, all those years were very challenging. But we pulled out of the storm, right? The day got brighter, the storm passed, and guess what? We're back. We survived the storm, praise God. So what are you going to do? Now that the opportunity's here, yeah, the interest rates are high, but so again is rent. You missed the boat. I've been on radio 8 years. You probably have heard me several occasions from several different, from radio, television to television commercials. You've seen, you've heard me from events that we do in networking, and you missed the boat when interest rates were on sale. They literally were, interest rates were like 2.5. I got a person got 1.75 interest rate. Like, when do you ever think you'll see that again? 1.75. But people call me when the score went up to 4. Well, I'm gonna wait till it go back down. Guess what? It went back up. It was at a 4, you missed it. Now it's at a 6. And some of you, depending on your FICO, your credit score, you're at a 7, 7.50. Depending on your FICO. That's why it's important to pay your bills, that you're not a higher risk. It's important that you take care of your credit so that your credit puts you in a good position, and it positions you for a better rate on the mortgage. I have people getting approved, but once they look at the interest rate with that approval letter, they say, ooh, I'm not going to buy at $550. Let me go down to $450, because they like the payment better at $450, $4.25. As far as $400,000 for a house, they were approved at $550, but they like, ooh, the payment at $550 with today's interest rates. Let me buy down. Let me buy a house at $4.25. Get a home. Eventually, the rates will come down. Who knows when? Someone asked me about the crash. Well, I'll wait till the crash. Really? You really believe Las Vegas, the fastest growing city in the nation, is going to crash? Are you kidding yourself? Stop listening to the naysayers. There is not a crash to be expected, not in the state of Nevada. You might be in Wyoming, Bloomingfield or something, right? The population of 10,000. You got over 2 million people in Vegas, and we're growing and counting? Stop listening to them. Let me tell you something. Right now, people are moving. Listen, we got 2 more teams to get. 2 more teams. The baseball and the NBA. We get that, baby, we full circle. We LA all over. We got everything. Right? Just like LA. We got it. And people mentioning LA are moving here by the truckloads from where? LA. And a lot of other places, really. You'd be surprised. But guess what? Don't let people tell you there's going to be a crash and you're going to wait. No. There's no way you're going to have a crash like we had in 2005. You know why? Because they did away with predatory lending. They did away with adjustable rate mortgages. They did away with interest only. They didn't necessarily do away with it, but they did away with everyone being able to do it, like first-time home buyers. You can't purchase a home on an arm as a first-time home buyer with FHA. You can't, with an FHA, you can't get an interest only anymore, right? Outlawed it, right? So programs are available, help you with money down. Things are available to help you move forward. If you don't move, guess what? The interest rate goes up like you missed it already. It goes high. Be like, man, Deville, I should have called you earlier. But don't be discouraged. Get in where you fit in. If it's at a 7.25%, get somewhere and make that happen. Because you're making it happen where you're at right now. It's somebody else's home, but guess what? You making it happen. I feel like I want to sneeze. But anyway, I want to talk for a few more moments about sellers, because I'm having sellers who are waiting, and the banks are. I've had some people get foreclosed on because they. Let me tell you what happens when the bank forecloses. People say, I don't want nobody in my bed. Let me tell you something. When the bank forecloses on a home, you know what they do? They put this paper in the window, and it says this property is a foreclosed property, and it's ownership of the bank, and they give the bank's phone number. So everybody knows that paper in the window means you got foreclosed. However, that sign in the yard that says for sale, nobody knows anything. They just know you sold your house. So why not just make it easy, avoid the embarrassment of a foreclosure, and to top it off, many of you have equity today. So if you got equity today, why not take advantage? You can't borrow it, but it's yours. Isn't that something? It's yours, but you can't borrow it because you got a late within 12 months. So many times, now there's a couple banks, I believe I heard one of my other lenders, a broker state, they can have 2 lates in 1 year. And I think they were able to do it. But you'd have to contact the lender for more. But most cases, 90% of the time, you cannot have 1 late in 12 months in order to borrow that equity, because you have to have at least a 650 credit score to be able to get the equity out of the home. So if your credit scores aren't where they need to be, then you need to work on that. But if you've got that 12-month late or that 30-day late within the 12-month, then you may be at a challenged position. So you got 100, 200,000. How do you get it? You may have to sell it, right? It is what it is. You got that one, guess what? You can get another one. Let's take that equity. Now I want you to remember, you could put 60,000, right? Do a 10% loan, right? 60,000 could get you a $600,000 home, right? With 10% down, right? Save 60,000. Let's say you buy 30,000, go 20% loan. You could buy a $300,000 house. Homes at 300 are okay right now. They're coming down, but you're going to have to start over. You may not be able to purchase as lavish as you're living now, but you will have learned some valuable lessons of what to avoid, what to and not to do, right? Yes. So if you're in trouble with your home, or again, now let's talk to the one who wants to use the equity that's in the home and purchase another home. Let's say you want a 2-story, you want a balcony, you want a swimming pool. I want a swimming pool. Just putting it out there. How do you get what you want? Well, we could set you with a lender to do the home equity line of credit, pull that money out. Recently had a client, they pulled out 85, they put 65 on the next home that they purchased. They bought a home at 600, they put a 10% loan on it, put that 65,000. Guess what happened? They got the home with the pool, the balcony, the 5-bedroom, the totally renovated, gorgeous, beautiful. They spared no punch in getting this property back on the market with all the bells and whistles. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Wood floors throughout, no carpet, beautiful. In fact, the bathroom, the master bedroom, had a 2-way fireplace. You could sit in a tub, see the fireplace, and then it's a 2-way, so you could see it from the master room. I'm talking about, and they just use equity in their current home. So you don't have to be in trouble to make a move. You can just say, look, I'd like to take my equity, get, again, either a reinvest, you can reinvest it into residual income property, like a duplex, 4-plex, triplex, or you could use it to get to your next home and then rent the one you have. We'd help you find your renter. We've done it before. So this client who recently got the big home with the pool in Green Valley, we went back and did a rental for him, got the place rented. So guess what? They're paying their mortgage where they are, and the tenant is paying their mortgage for the old house. So those of you that are renting, keep in mind, I was laughing with someone the other day. I says, what's the thing on a counter? What's the thing on a counter at the bank when you get in line and you're cashing or you're depositing your check, and there's a bowl sitting right next to you at the counter. What is that? What is in that bowl? It's a it's what tenants are. It's the thing in the bowl. And banks are notorious for having it in the bowl. It's a sucker. And so when we rent, and I've been a sucker for years, I didn't even know. Someone gave me the information. Deville, how long you going to keep being a sucker, man? You paying that guy's house. Now, I've never had a landlord sell a house, but I needed more space because what I rented in L.A. was way small. So when I moved to Vegas, I was able to get a little bigger house for less money. But again, we've got to change what we're doing. We can't do the same thing and expect getting different results. We've got to make a change. It starts in the mindset. Having a wealth mindset turns things around for you. So what the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate show is about giving you the mindset of possibilities, of what's available for you. Somebody said, I never really thought about it. I like where I've been living here for years, and it's every day I go home, it is what it is. But you'll be in for a rude awakening if you got a letter in the mail from the landlord whom you've never heard of before because you've been dealing with the property management. But he decided he's not going to use the property management to sell the home. He's going to do it directly through a realtor himself. And you get this letter in the mail, and he says, as the owner of the property, I've made a decision that I want to sell the property, and I'm asking for you to comply with visitation of buyers. Now, as the tenant, you do not have to. It is your property. It's nice for you to be nice. It's nice to be nice. You don't have to. That's why they're asking you to allow. And then if you don't, then many times they want to proceed with foreclosure. With an eviction. Now, you can be evicted, although it's not for rent. It could be for other reasons. They have several reasons for evictions. So it behooves us sometimes to just comply. Once they get a couple offers, they'll decide on one, and it's off the market. You won't have to show it anymore. But again, now, once that offer gets on that house that you're renting, it's 30 days. You got to be moved out. So what are you going to do? Now's the time to get the pre-approval. If you contact my team, 702-349-0162, contact my team, guess what we'll do? We'll set you with a lender. Just talk to them. See where you are. Maybe you're not ready. It's never no. It just may be not right now. But it's never no. It's just right now, again, transparency is important on my show. Back in 2015, we weren't where we needed to be. But they gave us a scenario of how to get where we need to go. And they said, it's like traveling. You always look at the map, right? Google Maps, and to see where you're going on the travel. And so in the lending world, there's a roadmap to home ownership, right? The roadmap is know your FICO score, know your debt to income ratio, know what you can afford. The lender's going to help you to know that. So when you review it with a lender, he's going to go over. Now, if you're not ready now, what the lender does, he gives you a game plan. He gives you what I like to call a strategy. With the strategy, now I had a strategy. She said, Deville, members never know. It's just you're not ready. But after putting your information into the simulator, here's what it gave me. It says, within 90 days, I need you to do this, and I need you to get a couple credit cards, and I need you to build up a trade line. 90 days, she said, 3 months. I need you to get that credit card, use it, and pay it. So the lender can see your ability to what? To pay. Because remember, no credit is worse than bad credit, right? I'm going to say it again. No credit is worse than bad credit. Because the thing about bad credit is I know you don't pay. No credit, I don't know what you might do. So I need you to show me to build a trade line. I need 3 months of consistent payments, not going over the credit limit, right? Use it and pay it. Very minimal. Just I want to see your track record, right? Now we have a thing called rental karma, that we can use your rental, a letter from your landlord that you haven't been late in a year on paying your rent. And then now we can use your T-Mobile account, right? We can get a letter from T-Mobile, and you're not late on that cell phone. So we can use the cell phone now showing a letter. We're building a trade line. We're building, not we, but the lender, right? But I'm telling you, I've spoken with the lenders. This is what they're giving me, and this is what we've done over the past, right? This is what they've done for me. And so I'm firsthand knowledge because guess what? Your nephew had to do it. So again, building the trade line, showing what we can do. Now that we've done this, like she stated, 90 days, Deville, you'll be good to go. Guess what? 94th day, we were approved. We just had to find a home. We found it. We closed it 30 days. Here we are 6 years later. We were able to build equity in it. We were able to take out equity, pay down some bills. Payment went up $100. Guess what? We're good. Now, that's how I want to see you position yourself. Now, don't think it's just for, listen, millennials, once you get 2 years on the job, right? 2 years on the job, that's all you need to at least have 620 FICO score, right? Now, if you got some money down, you got a rich uncle, your daddy got some money, he said, baby, I'm going to help you get your down payment. You could do it with a 580 credit score, right? But we need to know where you are. How do you do that? It's by contacting my team, and it's by talking with a lender to allow them to go over with you. We're not a part of that. Right? Once we send you to a lender to talk to, you can go to your bank, you can go to your credit union. However, but you need to start now, because if there is something that you will need to do, it's good that you start now. So that for me, it was 90 days. For someone else, I know one of the agents in my office, 30 days. They were good. The strategy, the game plan will give you the wherewithal to get it done. And guess what? Owning your own property. That was a saying that just came to mind. It said, God bless a child that has his own what? His own house. Right? You need your own because you're paying somebody else's. How long do you do that? How long? I'm telling you, I don't never want to have to rent nobody's house again. I want to always forever own a home. I know the value. Listen, if you know someone that this information can help, do them a favor and do us a favor, is give them this contact information, 702-349-0162. Give them 0162, 349-0162. Just say, look, call Deville. He's got some information that might help you. If you got a cousin, a family member that you know they're paying rent and they've been on their job over 2 years, don't assume they don't have the credit, or don't assume they don't want to buy. They may not even thought about it. But the fact that you're listening Facebook Live, you're listening on 702.5 FM, you're listening to me however you're listening to me, and you got the information, would you please be the avenue that they gain this information so that we can do what? We can empower them as well. Because each one, teach one, reach one. We are our brother's keeper. Yes, we are. And so I'm going live on radio, and again, tomorrow I'll be at another station. Look, everywhere I go, I want to empower my people, anybody for that matter. But I definitely want to see the black community. You know, I want to bridge the gap. 31% of blacks only own property, only 31%. We got to come up. We got to reduce that number. I mean, look, I want to bridge the gap in black home ownership. I want to see you own a house. I don't care if it's a condo, because I want to stop seeing people pay other people's stuff. That's like you buying a car that you can't drive. What sense does that make? That's what you do when you rent this house, right? You're paying it for somebody else. So why pay their stuff? When I'm saying I can give you no money down, you can get a 580 credit score if you got a 401k. I've given you a lot of information. I'm out of time, but not out of information. Time is wound up. But I hope I've said something today. If you're looking for commercial real estate, guess what? We do commercial sales, lease, whatever you need to do. You want to start that business, we can help get that started with commercial real estate. So whether buying, selling, or investing, don't forget, you can purchase a fourplex investment property under the FHA program and under, watch this, the down payment, no money down program. A fourplex. I'm talking about residual income with no money down. You have to own or occupy. Now, At the end of the day, it's for a year. 1 year, you got to live in the unit. After that, you save your money. Now you can get another loan and purchase a home. Now you're an investor. It's a sacrifice that you have to make to get to this point. But sacrifices are always in our life. Good, bad, or indifferent, we got to sacrifice. Married couples, we sacrifice for one another. You got children, you sacrifice for your children. Some of you, your family member, you sacrifice. Your parents. When my mom got of age, she had to come live with me. I made sacrifice. I got to take care of mom. Guess what? Mom took care of me. Life is full of sacrifices. Our reasonable service is giving back. Can I help you? All you got to do is reach out to me. I'll be glad to speak with you. Share this Facebook post with someone. Share this information so that we can advance our community in creating wealth through equity. Would you do that? I certainly appreciate you today. I thank you for your time. I thank you for tuning in. And let me thank you in advance for sharing my contact information, this Facebook post, just to give people more information and to empower them with knowledge and information. Now let's do something with it and let's make it happen. I'm here for you. Don't forget, every second Saturday of each month, we do what is called a home buyer education. Yes, we've been 6 years doing that. And every Saturday of the second Saturday of every month. If you want to get on that list, my contact for that to get on that list is 702-515-4100. To get on the list, it's this Saturday. To get on that list, you've got to contact 702-515-4100. You got to register. We have to have a head count. Lunch is provided. You have to register. It's every second Saturday of each month. This month, it is this coming May 13th. 8:30 until 3 p.m. Get in this home buyer education. Learn what it takes to become a homeowner and how to maintain the home. And you get a certificate that's good for a year for up to $32,000 if you qualify. 35, I apologize. Up to $35,000 if you qualify. All right, so that's it. The engineer's looking at me upside the head. She said, Deville, you got to get out of here. I can make room for somebody else. Some other show coming my way. I appreciate all of you, Las Vegas. I want to hear from you real soon. Again, that contact 702-349-0162. Until I talk to you next Thursday right here, Hot 702.5 FM. Listen, have a great weekend. Be safe. Take care. Until I talk to you, may God's best be yours.
Yeah. Jones, hey. Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family.